Okay, so this is a continuation of the video about the problem of uh, sorting out down access points and attempting to identify the schools most worthy of our attention in terms of having the most down access points. So where I left off in the last video, we were using filters to make sure that we avoid duplication. And so the last filter I applied was at the management IP address of 10.9. And you notice this gets all of the 90s. And if there were a 10.9 dot site, I don't believe there is, or there were 10.9 dot access points, then they would also be here. So I just cut and pasted this into my text file. And I'm using Linux, and I'm using a text editor, which is quite powerful in terms of sorting out problems. So I'm going to do this. This isn't something that guys on Windows. Well, actually, that's not true. You can do this because you can get the Vim editor for Windows too. So this is an example of when it might be useful to you. Okay, so the first thing I did is I wanted to see my line numbers. So set no new takes away line numbers, and set new number puts your line numbers in. And you see when you cut and paste, it doesn't paste everything into a single line. You can see that the host name uh, is on one line, and then it's followed by the IP address and the topology map. And you can actually see that in this case, the topology map value, uh, when you cut and paste, is actually a lot more useful than the topology map uh, when you do an export, and it creates a comma separated value file for you. So anyway, the first thing I want to do is I want to get rid of all the blank lines. And the way you do this in VI is you say, okay, I want to look at all the lines in the file, and I want to look at a line which, so I'm going to, in fact, no, to be honest, global, look at every line in the file. If the line matches the following, this is an empty line, this is the beginning of the line and the end of the line, and there's nothing in between, then what I want to do is delete the line. Okay, so that got rid of some lines. What that tells me is that you see this line here, it actually isn't empty, it actually has some characters in there. It's probably a tab. So what I have to do now is say global, between the beginning and the end of the line, there is some white space. White space includes space characters and tab characters. So some white space means there's white space. There could be some, there could be none, and then it's the end of the line. And I want to delete those lines. So basically, a line that consists of white space between the beginning and the end and nothing else. Okay, and you can see now that all of those lines were deleted. The next thing I want to do is I want to uh, join the line with a host name, such as if you look at the very last line, the AH-23E500, I want to join that with the line below it. And the way I do that is, once again, I say global. If the line begins with AH-, then what I want to do for that line is execute the join command, which means join it with the line below. And now you see that we have our everything on one line. Now, in order to put this into a spreadsheet, we need to have comma separation. The reason we need that is if you look at this particular line, which I'm going to highlight, we've got space separation here and space separation there, but we also have spaces in this topology map, and so we need to have something other than space to be the field delimiter. So what we can do, we need a comma before the tens. So we can say the following. On all lines, substitute the occurrence of some white space, one or more characters of white space, followed by, well, actually we're doing that, 10 and an actual dot. Okay. And what we want to do is we want to replace all the white space and the 10 plus the dot with a comma, a 10 and a dot. Okay. So I hit the enter on that, and you can see that we've managed to get a comma between the host name and the IP address. And now what we want to do is we want to get a comma between the IP address and the topology map. And the way we're going to do this is we're going to do another substitution on all lines. Substitute. We're looking for a literal dot followed by digits, and we're going to say between 1 and 3 digits. Okay. Followed by white space, 1 or more characters. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to substitute that. So what we have to do is we go back here and we say the first part of this, which were the dot and the digits, we want to repeat them. So we capture them. And if you want to understand this, I'll have to go through it with you in person. We're putting brackets around what's the last octet of the IP address so we can repeat it in the substitution. We're going to repeat it by saying $1, and then what we want to do is we want to put a comma after it. And I'm going to hit enter and see what happens. Okay. And if we go, I'm going to move to the first line. I hit 1 and then Shift G, and I'm at the top of the. Okay. Now, one of the things I see is a potential issue here is that we have commas in our in some of our fields. So if you look to line 5, when we actually export to a comma separated value spreadsheet, but in fact I don't think that's really going to affect things. It's not going to affect the functioning of our spreadsheet. What it will mean is that if we look at that particular line, that it will see 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then the 9 underscore first as additional fields, and so we'll have additional columns to the right, but it's not going to affect things. So what we're going to do is we're going to save this file. This was example.txt. Now we're going to open the file up in a spreadsheet application. Here it is in temp. I'm going to open it, and it sees the commas and detects that it's a text file with commas separating the fields. And we're going to say OK. And here we have exactly what I was talking about. What we have these additional fields, and if we just page down, okay. Now, so if I hit home, I think what we can actually do without worrying too much, we can simply delete those columns. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do an insert of a row. Insert rows above, host, IP, topology, map. Okay. Now, something that things get a little bit complicated here, so I'm going to have to. Michelle, I'm going to pause the video for a second. Or am I? No. So, what we actually want to do now is we actually need to sort these by location, and the topology map is probably not going to help us that much because I don't think it's a very precise field. So what we actually need to do is to try and pull out the second octet in the IP address. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert a column here, and I'm going to create a new field, second octet. And I actually have quite a complicated formula, which I already prepared. And this is the formula. And one thing I've noticed here, there's a double equal sign on this, which I'm not sure of. But anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to copy this, the formula I already prepared, and I'm going to put it over here. I'm going to paste it in here, F, F2, I was thinking. Okay, I don't know what happened there. Okay, so the problem we got right now is that I am trying to work with field D2 when in fact this is field B2. So what we're going to do is we're going to edit this, and everywhere there's a B2, we're going to change to a B2. What I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to take this text out. And I'm going to edit it in here. B, 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 B. Control C on this, Control V on that, and hit enter. You can see that I've pulled out the 135 from the IP address. I'm going to Control C on this. Okay, Control V that. Okay, and now I'm going to go to the top, very top. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to sort these. So I select the column, I shift select topology map column, go to data, I'm going to sort. I'm going to sort by second octet, and then I can potentially sort by host, and then I'm going to say OK. And now you see I have everything sorted by IP address. Okay, now what we want to do is we want to figure out which schools have the most turn access points. Now we already have this data table selected, so what we can do now is we're going to say let's do a pivot table. I'm going to create it with the current selection, and what we're interested in as the row field is the second octet, and what we're interested in is the count. So the unique field is the host. Mm-hmm. So just to show you guys, I drag that in, and it's summing them. You can't sum the host names, but what we can do is we can count them. Okay. So this created our pivot table, and it's what it's done is it's for each octet it's given us the numbers. Our only problem here is this is not in it's not sorted. So what we're going to do here is we're going to select the columns again, and we're going to data sort, and we want to sort by the count, and we want to sort ascending, so the highest count first. Okay, I should have said sort descending. Sort again, sort descending, highest count first. Okay, now it's actually put our total up here, but then it's come out with our per octet totals. And what we then have to do is reference the second octet in Hive Manager to figure out which particular locations these are. I do know that the first one is something like West Palm Holding, this 47, and that's just not an active school, so that's the issue with that. So I think that's probably enough. I'm going to save as, and I'm actually going to overwrite a prior spreadsheet, which I have here, and I'm going to close that down. I'm going to overwrite it because the prior one. Okay. Let me try that one more time. Okay. It's not letting me do it. Oh, that's because I'll still have it open. Okay. Let me try one more time. Okay. I was able to do it that time. So I think that will do for this video. What I would probably do from there is go on to show how we might further process this. I really guess I'm trying to set up a standard operating procedure for going through and addressing the issue of high numbers of down access points at a location. So I'll pause this video, start this video now.